Hello everyone, Mr. Vosters here. I'm a high school engineering teacher. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create your affordable home site plan. So I'm using the provided affordable home site plan. I've got it up here. Here's the basic view. You can see Maple Street and 10th Street, and you can see our lot right here. You can see the different elevations that are provided, 769 feet there, 768, and then it kind of slopes up as we go towards the northeast portion of the lot. So 770, 771, 772. So that's all good. This is just our basic floor plan. If you go to the 3D view, we can see we've got our site here. Right now, mine's showing in the shaded view. And if you look, when we kind of rotate this, it's just like a flat disk. And Revit 2024 has kind of updated to move away from this sort of topo surface look, and it's moved on to what's called a topo solid. So we'll have to update our model a little bit. So I'm going to click generate topo solid. Base level, we'll leave that as level 1. And we haven't created any families, so let's just leave that as topo solid 1. Click OK. All right, it got kind of funky looking when we did that, so that's because we still have our topo surface on top. So if you click around a little bit, here I've got my topo solid clicked on. I want to click so that I select the topo surface, and looks like I've done that. So if I go here, I can just delete that, and it should look at least not like there's some kind of error going on. So you can see just a couple things to point out. We've got our asphalt lifted up off the surface. We've got some sidewalks that are concrete cast in place. We've got some power poles, electrical utility poles, whatever is going through those. Got some fire hydrants in the corners, maybe some catch basins in the road. At least I think there's some in there. So what we can do with our topo solid that we just created, we can click on that, then go to edit type, and let's edit the structure. So right now it's just, I don't even know what structure it is. We can select grass. We probably want that to be grass. So you may have to search for it. We'll just do site grass, click OK, click OK again, apply, OK. And now it should be that dark green. I don't really like the way the default grass looks, so I'm just going to edit that. So if I go here and go to the appearance, it's going to use this for the realistic view. If you go to graphics, it's going to use the render appearance. I like to update that just to be a little bit lighter green color so that when I'm in the shaded view, it doesn't look so dark. When it's that dark, it's hard to tell apart from the asphalt. So I just do that so it's a little bit nicer to look at. All right, so from here, now that we've got our topo solid, we need to create essentially used to be called a building pad. Revit 2024 removed building pads, so I'm just going to create basically a void in the topo solid so that we can place our house without it intersecting with our topo solid. So from here, I need to go into component. I'm going to do a model in place. Scroll all the way down here, select topo solid. We'll just call this topo solid 2 or void or something like that. From here, we want to go to the create tab. Under void forms, we're just going to create a void extrusion, since this is going to go basically into our surface as a rectangular prism. I would recommend going to the top view, and then from here, just use the rectangle tool to place your void. So this is going to depend on where you want to place your house. I'm just going to make a cutout here. I'll make it plenty big. Let's make it a little bigger than that. You can always resize this later on if you need to. So one thing you want to make sure of is that it is actually going up to the surface here. So remember, we do have an elevation of about 770 feet on our site plan. So we're going to need to end our extrusion somewhere up there. So let's just cut all the way through it. I'll apply that, click the green check, and you can see we've kind of got this hot or extrusion void going all the way through. You do want to make sure, like from a side view, that you're cutting all the way through. Otherwise, you're going to have some dirt left or some grass left up above. So I've got it kind of how I want it. Then you need to click the cut geometry option there. Click your void and then click your topo solid. And you should see that nice little cutout there where we're going to place our house or our structure. Finish the model, and then you should be all good to go. From here, we should be able to insert a Revit link. So this is where you're going to actually kind of insert your house or your structure into this file. So I'm going to load the basic house that I built in one of my last videos. That was just for our foundation. You'll click to load it. It will eventually load it. And again, since we have an elevation here, you can see that it just placed it way below where I want it. So from here, you'll want to go to like a orthographic view and then use the move tool. I would click just anywhere on there and then type in, let's just do 770 feet, hit enter, and it should move it basically straight up to where I want it. All right, so we've got our house kind of placed where we want roughly. Obviously, where you place it height-wise is going to be determined by your specific scenario. So if you're doing like a crawl space or a full basement, or whether you want it to be placed up a little bit higher relative to your topography, that's going to depend on your specific scenario. So don't just copy exactly everything I do in the video. I'm just kind of guiding you on some of the basic principles. One thing you do want to make sure of is that your first floor is at least 6 to 8 inches above the grade so that you're not getting any sort of issues with the foundation. So from here, we want to begin to close this void in around the house, around the structure. So I want to make sure that the void is going right up against the exterior walls of the house. So before I get to that, I'm going to hide the roof just so that when I'm working here, that overhang is not visible, because otherwise it's going to want to, when I try to reset the footprint, it's going to want to keep snapping to the the roof footprint. So I'm going to hide that element so that our structure just looks like that. Now we can bring it back later. So from here, let's try to get back into our void. So let me see if I can click on that. There we go. Just a little double click there. Now from here, I can do edit extrusion. Go back to my top view, and we can see the edges there. So it's very likely your house is not just a rectangle like this. If it is, that's great. Then you can basically just drag these so that they're on the exterior wall. You want to be careful you're not doing them just to the footing. That outside line there is going to be the footing. And if you do that, it's going to leave some sort of gap. If you have a complex geometry for your house, once you've hidden the roof, you can actually just kind of trace that using the line tool. Let's say you have like a weird cutout like that. You can use this line tool to modify your void extrusion accordingly. So just basically modify the rectangle accordingly. In my case, I just want to make sure everything is aligned to the exterior walls. So that's really easy for me. I just click these lines and drag them until they're snapped to the exterior face of the wall. Again, I'm making sure that I'm not snapping them to the footing and I'm putting it to that second line from the exterior. Remember, this one's the footing, this is the exterior wall. Once I've done that with all four walls, I can click the green check. If I go back to my isometric view, finish model, you can see that now the structure has no gaps between it and the topo solid. If I want to bring back uh, my roof, I should be able to do that. I just have to click the light bulb here, and then I can bring back everything that was hidden. Click on my roof, unhide element, and now it's back. From here, we can start to add our uh, like driveway, or maybe you have a patio. So I'll show you how to do that. You want to start by clicking on your topo solid, like your grass, and then you want to subdivide it. So if you click subdivide, now we can start to add some boundary lines. So for like a driveway, I would recommend using either the line tool or like maybe a spline tool to try to get like some curves in there if you have a curved driveway. So I'm just going to show you with like the straight line tool. So let's figure out where we're going to begin placing it. We want this to be kind of along our surface. So I click there. Let's go to this alley. So if I want to start it right there, kind of want it to be a completed shape. And you can make it whatever funky shape you want. You just need to make sure you do enclose that entire shape. And it looks like I went a little bit long there. So you can use the trim tool if you'd like. Let's try to align this a little bit. Let me move it there. There we go. Click the finish edit mode and it will create that new uh, topo solid, or kind of like a subdivision of your topo solid. And if you want it to be asphalt, you can click the material over in the properties window. You can switch that to site asphalt, or maybe you're trying to do some kind of little patio. Maybe you switch it to masonry, some kind of brick finish. So you could have that as well. It's really up to you. For a driveway, I'd recommend asphalt or concrete. So for asphalt, you're just going to look for site asphalt, and it should match our road there. It looks like I was a little bit off on the boundaries. So you can use the edit sketch tool, and we can just move this out, snap it over there. Top-down view can be really helpful here because when you're in the isometric, it can look a little deceiving where your boundaries are. So now it's looking better. Again, this is not like an ideal driveway, obviously. So you want to match it to your specific design for your customer. All right, and then you would just, again, if you wanted to do like a patio or some sort of deck out back, you could use the subdivision tool under topo solid to do that as well. Okay, one last thing that you'll want to do or add for your site plan is some trees. So if you go to components, like architecture component, and then you do load family, you can load different trees from under the site folder. I think it's not site. It's planting. So if you want to do some RPC trees, we can do some fall trees. Maybe let's do like a dogwood tree. Then you can just place those wherever you'd like. Make it look real nice. Hit the escape key a couple times, and then we've got our nice, beautiful trees. If you want to switch that back to a realistic view, you can see how those look kind of in 3D. Notice our grass has switched back to the realistic view, and that's looking pretty good. You can see our foundation under there. If this topo solid extended deeper, then you wouldn't be able to see that, but it would be there, and we've got our void cut out, so it's not like the grass is going to be in our basement. Um, so everything should be happy. So hopefully this video helped, especially for those of you who are used to the older version of Revit, where you had building pads and things like that. But obviously, play around with it, customize it how you'd like, and make it your own, or make it how your customer would like it to be made. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.